good thing is there's, of course, tomorrow morning going to be headlines and visuals out of that sort of White House meeting, and we'll see. So we remember what happened, the punchline from last time, J.D. Vance asking...
almost threw him out.
No, that famous one line, did you say thank you once? That was the... that went viral. So we'll see. But of course, this time...
That was epic White House television. I don't think that can be repeated in any stretch.
No. That is peak television.
That's peak television, yeah. But he's coming with a whole entourage of people to in support we stand, right? The entire EU delegation.
Yes, absolutely. Not one, but it's going to be equal on both sides, right? So we'll see. But that's going to be the big one tomorrow morning as we come back. It's a wrap on this edition of Closing Bell. From all of us here, goodbye. Thanks for staying with us. More coming up on the other side.
Markets get GST rationalization boost. It sees all-round gains. Frontline indices record gains of 1% each. Auto, FMCG, cement stocks charge ahead, while pharma, healthcare and IT skid in a good market.
India's Director General of Trade Remedies has extended the safeguard duty on flat steel by 3 years. It was set to expire in September. Steel stocks perked up in trade after this move. Astral and Supreme Industries shares jumped after the DGTR recommends imposing an anti-dumping duty on imports of PVC resin for a period of 5 years.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi promises next-generation GST reforms by Diwali, which will bring down the tax burden on consumers as well as MSMEs. Auto, ACs, consumer durables, textiles and apparels, as well as insurance stocks see significant uptick.
Hello and welcome to Markets Forward, your go-to show where we aim to get you all the key data points to gear you up for the next trading day. I'm Ekta Batra and with me is my colleague Vinny Motiwala. Well, Vinny, it turned out to be a session which was definitely a good start to the week today.
Absolutely a good start to the week, and do not forget that, Friday We snapped that 6-week losing streak and closed that week on a positive note. Today it started on a positive footing as well. Intraday high of 25,000, so not a bad day.
Yes, absolutely. So the momentum definitely continued in today's trading session. That proposed GST review really boosted sentiment, and that was, post the Prime Minister's Independence Day speech. So the Nifty did hit 25,000 on an intraday basis. What you really did see was the Nifty Auto Index, which was up 4%, the BSE Consumer Durable Index, which was up around 3.14%, which are expected to be beneficiaries of any kind of GST reform that we might see. Advanced decline ratio also was positive in today's trading session. So that indicated that there were more stocks on the greener side as compared to the stocks that we were seeing selling in. The mid-cap index was up 1% and the BSE small-cap index also rallied around 1.5%, giving you a sense that there is some amount of risk on which sentiment which was there in the markets. But that's exactly what it looked like in today's trade.
Absolutely, an interesting day that shaped up. Not a bad day like you're talking about as well. But, well, here's a lineup for y'all that we have in store for y'all in today's show. We'll start with the top movers and shakers of the day with Hormaz Fatakia. Then we'll move on, talk about individual stocks as well. Steel stocks which gained in trade. And this came in after a DGTR cleared the overhang of the steel safeguard duty that was there. Also, JK Cement soared after announcing a greenfield expansion. That's not all. We'll also get you highlights from Glenmark Pharma's Q1 numbers. And last but not the least, we'll delve into the key market events to watch out for in tomorrow's trading session. Okay, on that note, let's go across to Hormaz and get started with the first segment of the day. Hormaz is joining us from the big wall for the top movers and shakers. Hormaz, over to you.
Well, a session that could have promised a lot more, but would still take a 250-point gain with both hands. And of course, dominated by two key sectors related to the potential GST rate cuts, autos being one of them and consumer durables being the other. Take a look at Maruti's move here, the 9% move on the stock, the highest single day gain in 5 years. A similar move coming in for Hyundai, Ashok Leyland, TVS Motors, Hero Motocorp, all of them seeing gains of anywhere between 5 to 10% for these automakers. And a similar move seen in these consumer durable names as well. Take a look at IFB Industries at 20% upper circuit, PG Electroplast in the FNO band but still ending with healthy gains. Amber Enterprises, Blue Star, Voltas, all of them ending in the green today after some bit of selling pressure that was witnessed over the last 1 month. But the newsmakers of the session beyond these names, look at KEC International, a 7% up move on the back of an order win. Godfrey Phillips, of course, a negative reaction to the GST potential revision. Suzlon continues to grind lower, and Glenmark, an earnings reaction there coming in one of the last few of this earnings season. And strong moves also seen in the FMCG names, with Nestle India ending 5% higher, and similar gains seen in HUL, Dabur and the likes as well. So FMCG among the top sectoral gainers today. And lastly, stocks that ended at a 52-week high in today's session. JK Cement also on the back of news flow ending 4.5% higher. But Aditya Birla Capital, Anand Rathi Wealth, Car Trade, all of them doing well today, ending at a 52-week high. Back to you guys.
Okay, all right, Hormuz. Thanks very much for that. So definitely a lively market, and those were the top stock movers. Let's now go across to our guest. We have Sudeep Bandopadhyay joining in to tell us about what he thought of trade in today's start to the week. Sudeep, hi, welcome to the show. Well, definitely a firm start, but we do have a lot of uncertainty still surrounding us. What's your sense?
Well, definitely uncertainties are there, and we are waiting for this great meeting in US, which is going to happen on Ukraine, and a lot of clarity hopefully will emerge when we speak tomorrow. But as things stand today, there are a lot of uncertainties. Also, there are uncertainties around what's going to happen on 27th August. Will the India-US trade tariff be 50%? 25%, or where it will stand, one doesn't know. So uncertainty definitely is there. And as far as domestic markets are concerned, there are a few positives, which is what the market is cheering. We already had, the interest rates which are coming down, inflation which is down. We have a good monsoon, which I'm sure will, enthuse rural consumption. We are at the onset of the festive season, and on top of that, now we have this announcement of GST rationalization, which definitely will help consumption going forward. So there is confluence of positive factors on the domestic front. However, the international news flow is not good yet, and we'll have to wait and watch carefully what happens over the next few days.
Absolutely. We'll have to wait and watch what happens over the next few days. And tomorrow, at least, we'll get some bit of clarity, like you're mentioning, right? Ukraine as well as, US president, they're meeting. So that'll give us some highlight in terms of that. But today, we did have these steel stocks that were in focus, right? Whether you look at Tata Steel, JSW Steel, SAIL, all these shares gained. And this came in after the DGTR announced an extension in safeguard duty, a move that is seen as a positive development for steel stocks and largely anticipated by the street. Nigel is here to give us more details on this one. Nigel?
Well, that's right. Good news coming in for ferrous players here in India, because the DGTR has gone ahead and recommended duties to protect them from the steel imports. The duties that they have recommended are for year 1 will be roughly around 12%, year 2 it falls to around 11.5%, and year 3 at around 11%. Now, duties in place to protect the domestic industry from imports is good news, because there was some kind of uncertainty whether or not that safeguard duty of around 12% will be extended post-September 2025, because it has been in place. The safeguard duty of around 12% has been in place for the last 5 months or so, and it was expiring in September 2025. So with this announcement coming in, it clears that overhang, and the ferrous players can be assured that they'll have some protection that will come into place. The next step is it goes to the Finance Ministry, which ultimately is likely to give its green signal to this particular proposal. Large names, well, Tata Steel, JSW Steel, JSPL, as well as SAIL, all of them are beneficiaries. Smaller steel names as well will benefit because they'll be protected from imports, while the indirect beneficiaries include NMDC as well as APL Apollo Tubes.
Okay, well, Nigel, you're also watching JK Cement. Tell us more about that.
Well, that's right. Cement companies actually were in focus in today's trading session. Because of news, there'll be some rationalization in GST rates, which is currently at around 28%. It could probably come down to around 18%, which in turn would push through volumes. And that's something that the street would like. But for JK Cement, well, there was an additional positive that came in there. They've announced a big capex spend. The capex that they're talking about is close to 4,800 crores. They're looking to add 7 million tons of grinding capacity and 4 million tons of clinker capacity. The clinker capacity will be in Rajasthan, while the grinding capacity will also be there in Punjab. This is positive for JK Cement, because this capacity they're expecting to come on stream by September 2027. And what it does is it'll take its total capacity, JK Cement's total capacity, to around 37 million tons. Remember, in the past, they have spoken about their target of around 50 million tons. So this announcement is a step in that direction. The street likes this announcement, and that explains why the stock did well in today's trading session.
Okay, Nigel, thank you so much for that. Sudeep, a couple of these factors are the reason that we're seeing today a bit of a run-up that came in, right? The GST rationalization. Then we had the positives that came in for the steel side as well in terms of safeguard duty. Firstly, your thoughts that come in on the steel sector as well. And, this fillip that they've gotten, do you think that now we could see a further run-up coming in for these steel companies?
Well, steel sector, definitely this is a big clarification. There was a little bit of an overhang because the initial year was ending and clarification was urgently needed. So this very clearly shows that for next 2.5 years, there is no challenge as far as these companies are concerned. And, this ensures that the valuation of the leading steel companies remain at a level which is, which can be encouraging for the investors. So, Tata Steel has been our favorite for quite some time, and we do continue to like that. Apart from that, some of the, like NMDC, which is into the ore part of it, and it does benefit them also indirectly. That's what I would say. Overall, our view on the entire metal pack has been positive for some time, and we maintain that view.
Okay, so maybe we can now hop across to Chandan for his views as well. Chandan, what's your sense in terms of a couple of these steel stocks which were in focus as well as JK Cement?
So I believe we have seen a good recovery in the broader market, but the only concern is the follow-up was missing at higher levels. The index has negated its lower top, lower bottom, and because of that, buying interest was seen. So I believe selective these counter could be in focus. The good thing about the market is that sentiment has turned positive and selective counter started to witness buying interest. So I believe some more surge could be there. and already the bottom has processed, expecting further 5 to 7% kind of movement in most of these stocks.
And specifically, if you had to narrow down on specific sectors such as the steel space and maybe JK Cement?
Yeah, so talking about JK Cement, I think the major trend of the counter is positive. The stock is heading towards its lifetime high, making high top, high bottom already up by around 60% in this year. So I believe this momentum could continue, and such kind of stock, which are already in the lifetime high and resilience even after the market decline, clearly indicates that momentum could continue. So I believe with support of 7150, this counter has potential to rally towards 7600 to 8000 kind of level.
Okay, interesting levels to keep an eye out on over there for JK Cement. But let's also talk about Astral and Supreme Industries. Both these were surging in trade, and this also came in after the DGTR's recommendation to impose anti-dumping duty on PVC resin imports for a period of 5 years. Ria is joining in with us to give us more details on this one.
That's right, Vinny. As you said, the DGTR has recommended the imposition of anti-dumping duties on the imports of PVC resin prices for a period of 5 years. And the reason that this is positive for plastic pipe manufacturers like Astral, Supreme, Phenolics and others is that this imposition of anti-dumping duty is going to lead to the stabilization of PVC resin prices, which is a key raw material for the company, and it will lead to some normalization of channel inventory. Remember, the recent price volatility in PVC resin prices had impacted plastic pipe companies. It had led to channel destocking as well as an impact in the primary sales volumes for all of these companies as well. On the back of this, Astral, Supreme and Phenolics ended about 2.5 to 6% higher today. Prince Pipes was up almost 13%. Even some PVC resin manufacturers, the likes of DCW and Chemplast, also ended about 4 to 5% higher in today's session.
Okay, all right. Well, Sudeep, any view on a couple of these stocks, Astral, Supreme Industries?
Well, we do like Supreme Industries, and I think this is definitely good news for this entire industry. Some kind of certainty in the prices, certainty in supply definitely helps these pipe manufacturers.
And Chandan, your view that comes in for Supreme as well as Astral on the technicals, are they looking interesting?
So Astral is from the bottom. In fact, we have seen selling pressure in the almost 7-8 weeks, but recently it has bottomed out with support near 1265. So I believe some reversal is clearly visible. However, the medium-term trend is still pressure, but short-term trend is bottoming out. So I believe with support of 1280, it can bounce towards 1350, 1380 kind of level. Talking about Supreme Industries, some positive price action is clearly visible. So I expect some recovery from current level as well. Looking at the price pattern, consolidation breakout is clearly visible on the daily and the weekly chart. So with support of 4380, Supreme can head towards 4750 kind of levels.
Okay, all right. So that's on a couple of these stocks which were in focus, but Glenmark was in focus as well on the back of its numbers. So that stock, in fact, fell over 3% in trade after it missed estimates. So revenue was flat this quarter. We had margins which were below 18%. The profit was below expectations. India just about grew around 4% odd. North America was flat year on year but grew sequentially, and Europe was sluggish as well. The company did indicate that, net debt was around 1,500 crores this quarter. They will be getting proceeds from ISB 2001 by September of this year. Glenmark is going to provide for R&D expenses for 3 years from that 700 million that they get from AbbVie. Now, Glenmark is going to be targeting around 23% in terms of EBITDA, so they are expecting an improvement in the second half. They will be focusing on high margin products in the domestic market and will be filing around 5 to 6 ANDAs on new drugs in the US and plan to launch around 10 to 12 including partnered products in the US. They are expecting Europe to pick up and to see double-digit growth eventually. And they largely have completed remediation work at one of their facilities, Monroe, which has been under the US FDA scanner. They're expecting commercial supplies to probably start this year. But, Chandan, would you have a view on Glenmark considering that it's done so well technically? Would it have been a buying opportunity today? And what would your view be tomorrow?
So Glenmark is down by around 7% in this month. However, in last 2 months, the stock rallied well, but now started to form lower top, lower bottom. But the good part is it has taken support at 50 exponential moving average. So because of that, some recovery could be there. However, it needs to hold about 2100 levels for a decisive move. But as of now, with support of 1900, we can go for bargain buy for an upside targets towards 2100, and about 2100 it can start the next leg of rally towards 2250.
Okay, surely keeping an eye out on those levels for Glenmark Pharma. But Sudeep, do you have a view on Glenmark Pharma, or in general any other pharma stock? Is that something that you're looking at right now?
So we do like Glenmark Pharma. I think the deal which they did with Abbey was a landmark deal for the entire industry in India. And I think this is one company which is focusing on research for quite some time. And out of the proceeds, they're going to earmark money for future research as well, which is all good trend. Of course, this quarter results were subdued. And of course, they are talking about better second half, and we'll wait and watch. So if somebody has a slightly long-term view and a little bit of patience, I think buying Glenmark at current level does look good. Apart from Glenmark, we are looking at companies which are focused on domestic market because of the uncertainties in US. We are focusing on domestic pharma names, and Mankind Pharma has been on our radar for a very long time.
Okay, all right. So that's on Glenmark. But Sudeep and Chandan, thank you very much for joining in and taking us through all of those queries that we had. With that, it's time for a short break, but we'll get you all of the top corporate voices along with key market events to watch out for on the other side. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Well, now let's go across to the key corporate voices that we got. First up is Vinati Organics. The management says that the company's ATBS capacity expansion is well on track and is taking place in two phases. The first phase of expansion is expected to be completed in August, and remaining 10,000 tons will come on stream in April 2026.
And up next, let's talk about Zaggle Prepaid. That closed with gains of 11%. And we spoke to the management. The management said that they're maintaining their FY26 growth guidance between 35 to 40%. They also said that it will reassess it by the end of the second quarter. But as of now, they're maintaining it. Also, they said that it expects inorganic acquisition to drive momentum, with some large acquisitions expected this year. As most of the acquisitions are already profitable with minimal losses, while overall synergies are expected to deliver significant cost savings. But that's the top corporate voices that we had for you all this morning. Let's go across to Ria now before we wrap up this edition of Markets Forward to give us the key events that we should be keeping an eye out on for tomorrow's trading session. Ria, over to you.
Well, yes, let's take a look at the key events to watch out for tomorrow. First up, we have the Q1 earnings of Aditya Infotech as well as G&G Electronics coming out tomorrow. There's also the IPO of Vikram Solar that will open for subscription tomorrow. Two other events to watch out for. EAM Dr. S. Jaishankar is going to travel to Russia between the 18th and the 21st of August. And lastly, former CJI Sanjeev Khanna is scheduled to interact with the Joint Committee of Parliament on the One Nation, One Election bill on the 19th of August. So keep your eye out on all of these events.
Okay, all right, Ria. Thanks for that. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Markets Forward. We'll be back with more news and updates on the other side. Stay tuned.
Good evening. Thanks very much for joining us on Business 360. I'm Shireen Bhan. The headlines that we're tracking for you this Monday evening. A setback for Ukraine just hours before the schedule.